We're all going to make it, guys, and that started by getting 1% better each and every day. So let's get our minds right and get ready to join the conversation about everything fitness, nutrition, men's mental health, and the craziness that my life has become. So welcome to the show, and let's get it started. So for today, I'm going to be bringing you guys through one of my high-intensity days. So I used to do a lot of powerlifting work. More so, I'm working on like a conditioning training method. It's more about training to your recovery potential. What I'm working on right now is trying to decrease my resting heart rate, increase heart rate variability, and just reduce headaches that I've been experiencing from TBIs during my time in the military. But let's get it started. So I'm going to do a little bit of warming up with the elbows and rotate them out because today is the only day with any weightlifting in there. And I'm going to try integrating some cleans in for a little bit of mobility, a little bit of power, a little bit of fun. Trying to integrate a little tiny bit of weightlifting back into my routine. Nothing crazy though. So just trying to open up the shoulders right now, get the elbows and wrists moving through a full range of motion, kind of forcing it into position for myself. But today's going to be a fun one. So I'll walk you guys through everything. The beginning of the workout is going to be my main strength training. I'm going to do 3x3 or 5x3 on the cleans, into 3 sets in the 5 to 8 range or something like that for weighted dips and weighted pull-ups. That will be enough for growth, but also be helping to achieve the adaptations I want with calisthenics. Trying to improve body positioning and control and all that good stuff. Ooh, this is feeling crunchy as shit. So let me just explain a little bit about how this is supposed to be working exactly. So the whole model is you train, recover, remodel, repeat. But the way that's set up is you have high intensity, low intensity, and medium intensity days, and they're broken up by kind of perceived exertion levels and heart rate zones rather than necessarily how much weight you're moving or how close to failure you are. So realistically, I'm keeping all of my weightlifting on these high intensity days, like the actual hypertrophy centered weightlifting type of stuff and strength based, because anything that's going to be intense enough to produce muscle size gains or strength gains is technically considered high intensity on this training model. So that's 2 days a week of that. My medium days are kind of more of my calisthenic skill building, lower intensity cardio, kind of volume work to get the heart working a little bit more. It's more of the quality work where you're working on efficiency. And then the low days are more of like active recovery. Still doing a little bit of cardio, still working, but nothing absolutely crazy. So the way my high intensity days are set up is I'm kind of picking 3 to 4 strength-based movements, working in hypertrophy ranges, but also general strength ranges. So in the 5 to 8, 6 to 10s, things like that. So I can be achieving both at the same time. And a lot of the movements are either ones I find fun, so I will progress them better during this super stressed out, burnout state, but also will be producing nice hypertrophy gains. So like for today, it's pull-ups, dips, and power cleans. All gonna produce really good size gains if you know what you're doing and if you're using proper technique, but also produces really good strength adaptations for everything else I'm looking for. Then the rest of the session is going to be built around strength work that I need to be filling in the gaps, like heavy carries for stability, broad jumps for a little bit of plyometrics in there, and a little bit of power building. And then I'm going to be finishing it with lactic power intervals on the rower. So that's a fun one. I'll show you guys exactly how that's going to work towards the end. So this shit is going to be rough right now. Haven't done cleans in ages, so the shoulder mobility is garbage. And the mobility through the elbows is honestly garbage as well, but it's gonna happen. We're gonna do 5x3 on these. A little bit of technical work, nothing super crazy. And let me move this so I don't smash it to bits. At least for this move. Yeah, I'm struggling. Alright, that's not as bad as I thought. Let's open it up quick. Bar out in front, shoulders nice and back. Pop. All right, this is actually feeling good. A lot more quickly than I thought. I can definitely go up on that shit. All right, let's fuck around with the pull-ups now. I think this would be a good starting weight. 25 pounds plus body weight, sitting at 215 right now. It's heavy enough to do something. Yep, that's good. I don't know if I want to be more conservative or a little bit crazier with the dips. So maybe we'll mess around with some chains. God damn. A lot of people will say that those pull-ups look kind of weird, but what I'm trying to do there with the head hanging back like that, counterbalance the body so that you can get your lats in a better position to actually pull. So straight up and down pull-ups may look nice and crispy from a gymnastics point of view, but for a bodybuilding strength point of view, not very good. Get the head back a little bit, allows you to kind of get the body in that right position to make it into like a high row. Very strong position for the lats. Also very good position for power development and size building though. Let's see how this feels. Good. That was super easy, so I guess we can go up on these cleans. Super easy, Jesus. That's surprising. The shoulders have been locked up pretty nicely for quite a bit of time. They're opening up quickly though. Honestly, I'm real surprised that things are holding up like this. Because for those of you who don't know me, it's been about 8 weeks or so since I've really touched a weight seriously. That work I did today is basically some of the only weightlifting I've done for a hot minute. So I'll admit I've been blessed with the ability to hold on to this with just calisthenics. But I do have to start getting a little shifty with the training to maintain this past this point. Because I have not been tracking my diet. I have not been tracking my training. I have not honestly been really doing what I need to do to maintain this. It's just kind of been luck at this point. But the work ethic is there. I will figure it out. And realistically, with this style of training, I do have 2 days a week to be making quality muscle gains. It is just 3 movements for now, but it will probably build up as my stress tolerance builds up. So I don't see this being a bad way of training at all. When I do want to get back into it and thinking about potentially bodybuilding shows, things like that, I will have to go back to a traditional style of training, but I'll be well primed to do that. I also have the goal in mind of achieving a 500-pound plus bench press. There's a whole bunch of things in mind, but do we have the time in the day? Who knows? We'll figure it out. But I'm happy with the way things are looking. This side chest is looking pretty crispy. popping out both the front, rear, and side. Sheesh. Abs are staying steady. All right, so for the second part of this workout, this is going to be more of like the skill building side of things. What I'm doing for this one, testing it out, is I'm going to be doing some lighter farmer's walks, trying to work on the technical side of things. I'm going to be doing ab wheel to do some core stability type stuff that's kind of fun. And then I'm going to be integrating in some broad jumps for power generation. So I'll be taking you guys along with me, kind of just moving through the motions and explaining what I feel is important about them. So let's go ahead and get started with the farmer's walks. For these today, I'm just doing 88 pounds in each hand, nothing too crazy. Nice and controlled way down. Now, farmer's walks can be used for a great many things, and they're awesome at building muscle. And there definitely is a time to be going as heavy as possible, but that time is not right now. What I'm trying to focus on is more of the technical side of things. So when I'm doing these, I'm going for a reasonable weight that I can control. I'm trying to imagine I'm shifting the weight perfectly between the feet at every step that I take. So every point that I'm going to be touching the ground is where my center of gravity is supposed to be, and I'm trying to train my body to move through the hips to make that happen more and more effectively. That's going to be building all the little core muscles like the psoas, all the hip flexor things that are keeping everything nice and together and stable while you're moving through these motions, so that when you do go up to the big boy weights, it's not buckling underneath you. Form breakdown does happen with maxes. Not going to allow that to happen right now. So during this circuit, I'm going to be putting broad jumps in there. I've been putting my power generation stuff on the high intensity days because power generation work creates a lot of force. It's more stressful than you'd really think, so it has to be considered that high intensity for this style of training. It wouldn't necessarily be considered that for powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting because it would be your lighter work, dynamic effort, but it's still stressful. So that's where it falls for this one. So when we're doing a broad jump, this is going to be mainly to get the triple extension of extending the hips back more and more forceful. So generating that speed and power more and more quickly will lead to a bigger jump and hopefully more explosive movements like squats, any type of jumping ability during sports or things like that. So the way that I like to set up would be like a little bit about shoulder width, kind of like a comfortable squatting pattern. And it is a plyometric, so you want the muscle to stretch, rebound, and then pop off. That's where you're getting this power from. So we're going to load back like a Romanian, feel the stretch, and push through and fully extend. So just like this, slowed down. And I'm going to be doing these for sets of 3. Anything higher than that, and I start to see form breakdown, I start to see issues popping in. So that's sets of 3. Super good to maintain proper technique, maintain that high level of power generation so that you're not flubbing through the work. And honestly, if you're not getting close to 80 to 90% of your power or max power or max speed with this, you might as well just be doing some conditioning work. So the way that that's going to work full speed is load back, rebound, pop. One more time for my set of 3. So this right here, the ab wheel, is like a torture device to most people, but this is a super fun and effective way to build the abs if you learn it properly. So where most people fuck this up, screw this up, is going to be they're going to try and progress the movement before they're capable of it. So you should be building this up in levels. If all you can achieve with proper form and getting the hips pulled through correctly is this motion, that is all we need to be doing. So basically the most important portion of this movement is the hip movement. It's going to be a movement through the hip flexor to contract the abs. Essentially, it's going to be like the reverse of a hanging leg raise where you're pulling through it. So I'm going to allow the body to straighten out, go out, and I'm pulling back by driving back with the hips and kind of sinking into it. So I'm kind of like a hunched over cat over here. So all the way out, full extension, hunched in. So I'm really forcing that contraction through all of the lower ab muscles, kind of allowing the hips to tuck under and through. Trust me, if you're doing it right, you'll know. This exercise teaches awesome control through the abs, through the whole body. You've got to coordinate the whole body to survive this movement. And every level of difficulty you can add to it improves general strength throughout the entire body. I promise you that. So, I know I said I'm going to be doing the rower. Not exactly feeling that today. After all the power cleans I just did, traps are feeling kind of iffy. Not exactly feeling like I want to be doing max effort pulling on the rower. So I'm going to be subbing out for battle rope intervals, same exact lactic power intervals though. So a lactic power interval, the whole point of it is to drive up your ability to buffer lactic acid. All that means is that burn you experience when things start to get hard, that will make it so that you can last a little bit longer before that takes you out of the fight or the event or whatever you're trying to do. So the way that this will be working is we're going to achieve that by doing 20 to 40 seconds of maximum effort work with whatever we're going to be trying to improve. For today, that's going to be the ropes, to 3 times that in rest. That'll be 3 times in a row, and then in between those, after 3 attempts, you'll start to lose a little bit of the power. The reps will start to not look as clean. So rest about 5 to 8 minutes, get back to close to 100%, and then do it again.